shoes today. Just finished up with the day in the clinic. Got the clinic to myself, so I thought I'd do a live. And we're going to talk about running shoes, just shoes that you might wear in the day, drop heights, how they might impact certain injuries, and we're going to talk about the toe box, which is the width at the front. We're going to talk about motion control. We're going to talk about minimalist versus traditional. I've just got a list here of things we're going to talk about, so if you see me looking down. Hi, Cherie. First of all, I want you to put in your feedback about traditional and minimalist shoes. What end of the spectrum are you on? Are you in a low drop light shoe, or are you in a more traditional shoe, a big drop with a big heel? So pop that in there. We can chat about it as we go. And if you have any questions about your running shoes, pop the questions in and I'm going to try to get to them as we go. First thing is pizza socks. What I mean by that is these are my cool socks that I'm rocking at the moment. So I had to go barefoot and I needed to show you those because my business partner has been getting me a pair of socks every month for 12 months and the pizza socks are my favorite. And the second thing I want to talk about is we're very lucky at iMove to be learning off some of the best running coaches and running physios in the world. So a lot of this information has come from these people, and I just want to give them a shout out. And if you're really interested in these topics, go and check out their web pages. So the first one definitely is Christopher Johnson. He has something called the Runner's Zone, which is a private Facebook group that you can join where he does a live every day and he talks all things running. He's a brilliant coach. He came up with the app that we've done at our symposiums called Run Cadence. So a lot of the information everyone at iMove has learnt from him. And someone a bit more local to Australia is Tim Brasden. He has a company called The Running Lab. So check out his stuff on Facebook. He posts some really cool things, particularly about getting stronger in your feet. So we're very lucky at iMove to be learning off these people. First thing we're going to talk about is drop height. So if you know your drop height, put it in the comments. And we're going to start with, this is my most recent shoe. And that is a 9mm drop. Now what we're talking about is the difference between the heel and the toe. The difference between the heel and toe in this shoe is 9mm. Most traditional shoes, or maximalist shoes we might call them, would be a 12mm drop. So they've got quite a large supportive heel. Now I want to talk about drop height and how it relates to your body. Let's take someone with knee pain. If you've got knee pain, you don't want a shoe that's going to push you onto a heel strike, because when you land on your heel, particularly further in front of your body, that's going to cause a bit of a joint absorption strategy, and that's not good if you're someone who has knee or hip pain. We can flip it the other way around though, is if you're someone with a history of foot issues or bony stress issues in the foot, then you might be someone who prefers a maximal shoe, something with 12mm and lots of cushion and lots of support. So that's just a very brief word on drop height and how you might know what drop height suits your body. This is something you've got to work on with your coaches, your physio, and your running specialist store. Hi Richard, hope your running's going well, mate. We're just talking about all things shoes, drop heights, toe box, anti-pronation, control, stability, all these terms. So if you've got your 2 cents, feel free to put it in there, Richard. The next thing I'm going to talk about is the Vivo shoes, which I did a quick video on before. And what I like about the Vivo shoes is wide toe box. So what that means is at the front of the shoe, that is really wide compared to, let's take that shoe. So in that shoe, my toes are going to be really squished and compressed. And that's what can lead to that bunion that we see, which is when your big toe goes across, it gets really stiff and sometimes become painful. So this is more of a dress shoe, and what that does is it allows my feet and my toes to have the space they need to work, and it stops my big toe getting stiff, which is really important. If you lose big toe extension, you're going to lose a lot of the power and propulsion that you need for running in your foot. So I've started to wear these Vivo shoes at work. They have a running shoe here too, which is that. And so wide toe box, you're going to have much healthier feet, much healthier toes, and you're not going to lose that big toe propulsion. The only thing with Vivos is there's zero drop. So there's no difference between the heel and the toe. And if you make that transition too quickly, you're going to get a sore foot. So that's something to consider, particularly for those of you with wide feet, is there's starting to be more and more shoe brands that are doing a wide toe box, and it's the way our foot was meant to be. And at this point, I would just remind you of Tim Brasden, the Running Lab, because he posts a lot about a wide toe box and things you can do to keep your foot strong and healthy and stop that bunion. So, toe box. I would say most of the shoes you guys are in have a point at the end, so it's something to look out for. Now, we've got 8 of you on the line. Thanks for joining the call, everyone. I can only see Richard and Cherie at the moment. Richard says, I'm being a good boy and letting Miss Needles take care of me. Probably referring to Ivanka at our Panania clinic, who is actually Ivana, but everyone call her Ivanka. It's a really good running joke we've got going on. The next thing is motion control shoes. So I got a few issues with motion control shoes. The first thing I would say is they don't motion control. The second thing I would say is, why would we want to motion control? It goes on that old adage from 10, 15, 20 years ago that pronation is a bad thing. Now, pronation is good. Pronation is propulsion. If you stop your foot from pronating, you're not going to propel forward. It actually acts as an elastic recoil that allows you to propel off the ground. Some people, we could maybe say pronate excessively, but it's rare, and I would much rather strengthen them up so they can use their available pronation than put them in a motion control shoe that locks them up. A lot of the evidence we've got, or the best evidence we have, actually suggests that your foot's still moving in a motion control shoe, you just can't see it. So the actual term motion control, I think, is dead. Don't fall for that stuff. Don't say I've got flat feet or I'm a pronator. It really doesn't mean much. There's no evidence to suggest that's going to cause you a problem. It's more about your loading strategy and having strong feet. Cool. I'm just checking in with who's on the call, guys. So this is a point I wanted to make. Point number 4 is your shoe strategy should be a lifelong journey. It takes a long time to go towards a minimalist strategy if that's what you want to do. And a quote that I heard Christopher Johnson say is, the juice isn't worth the squeeze sometimes. What he means by that is it is very hard to work towards a low drop lighter shoe, and it can take a long time. And for some of you runners out there, maybe that's not what we need to do. There's definite advantages to going into a lower drop lighter shoe, but it can take such a long time, and there will be a higher risk of injury when you're trying to do that. So if you're just a really happy runner bumping out your 3x10Ks every week, you've been in a maximalist shoe, you really have to weigh up the pros and cons of going towards a lighter, lower drop shoe. Hi, Mitch from iMove Panania, and Martin. How you guys going? Mitch, I'm just talking about going towards a minimalist shoe and how it's a lifelong journey, and how some runners maybe should just stay where they are, because the benefits, although they're there, can take a long time to achieve, and you have to be super patient. So I want you guys to approach your shoe strategy as a lifelong journey and work with someone on it. Know your drop height, know your load, know your cadence, and very slowly, every 6 to 12 months, you might just go slightly lower in your drop and slightly lighter in your shoe choice. But make sure you're working with someone on that. Richard says, running science just put me in a pair of New Balance V. Awesome. Guys like Trent at Southside Runners, Sean at Ranella, Fletch and Phil and the gang at Running Science, you need to work with these guys, and your physio should be sending them emails or letters as well, and you guys should all be working together to find the best shoe. We've worked hard to establish those relationships with the running shoe shops, and it is absolutely the only way to go. You need a loading strategy around your shoes, your cadence, that your coach, that your physio, and that your running shoe specialist is all on board with. So yeah, thanks for that comment, Richard. And your 6 mil drop, and the newest Mizuno races at 4 mil. Yeah, and Olivia. Hi, Olivia. Olivia's just back to running. Good to see you running again, Liv. The last point I wanted to make is what I call the big three. Now, the big three is how you're going to get yourself injured. So I want you to be super aware. The first thing you need to know is your drop height. I want everyone on this call, and every runner should know the drop height in their shoe. And your drop height, your cadence, and your running load, your kilometers or elevation or time, they should not all be changing at the same time. If all those change at the same time, you're going to get injured. You change into a lower drop shoe, you change into a higher cadence that puts more stress on your foot, and you increase your running load. That's the big three. And if all them are changing at the same time, you're probably going to run into troubles. And I'm talking from personal experience here. I've gone into the Vivos at work, so I'm spending 5-6 hours a day on the Vivos. I have been running more, and the Salomons are a slightly lower drop shoe. So I've just had to back off a little bit because I can start to feel my foot talking to me. Positive adaptation though, my foot's getting stronger. You just have to be really careful. So I call that the big three. Hi, Sue. Thanks for joining the call. You've just been put in a boot, I think. So I hope you have a good recovery. Your new employee, Pat, yes, Pat Mack will be working at iMove from Running Science. So we are hiring more talent. And it's really exciting to have a lot of these running guys around us because we love helping runners. Guys, that's all I wanted to talk about today. Leave comments on minimalist or traditionalist shoes, any troubles you might have had transitioning. Be aware of the big three. Don't change your drop, your cadence, and your load all at the same time. Know your drop height, and make sure you're talking to your physio, your coach, and your running shoe shop all at the same time. And thanks for being on the call tonight, guys. I'm going to go another 2 days and we'll come up with a new topic. Feel free to leave topic suggestions. I may start going by injury or body part.